The Nuggets head to LA for a pivotal game 3. I'm going to argue why it's not pivotal. Plus, how are the Nuggets going to get Nikola Jokic going? And I am going to try and make the case that Zeke Naji needs to play. It's going to be an exciting, thrilling, and unpredictable Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us, being a part of our community, and being an everyday or hanging out with us Monday through Friday. We do appreciate you guys joining us, whether you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, or if you're checking us out at youtube.com/Locked On Nuggets. We are, by the way, 77 away from 10,000. So head on over, clickety the button. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I write at a site called The Denver Dig. I also have another Substack called Hardwood Paroxysm, in which I wrote about today how teams have to experiment in the playoffs, which sounds like not something you want to do, but something that you absolutely have to do. Ryan Blackburn is from Mile High Sports. He's their NBA writer and Nuggets writer. He's also the host of the Pickaxe and Roll podcast, so he gets to get like way longer thoughts and more in-depth thoughts over there. So make sure to go download and subscribe and hit the like and subscribe button over at Mile High Sports as well. We love the Mile High Sports guys. I try and be somebody that like wants everybody to succeed. That's what I want to be. Somebody, there's enough,
all it can be
content for all of us.
Yeah, it's the open wild west in this internet space, but people are just going to keep clicking on stuff about their favorite team. So we're keep putting out great content on all platforms,
including on our newsletter. You can go to lockedondaily.com and check out the Locked On Nuggets newsletter. Tomorrow, I'll have a post up kind of with some bigger picture thoughts on game 3 about how to kind of dissect some of the defensive stuff that we'll talk about today, as well as we try to figure out exactly how to quote unquote defend Kawhi Leonard, because I'm just kind of like, yeah, you don't really, you just kind of live with it. Like, it's just something you have to live with. Like, it's just a condition. Like, contracting Kawhi Leonard is just a condition that you have to deal with. It's, well, like certain venereal diseases that you just like, you have it, and that's what you have. This episode, by the way, is called No Jinx, because we never, ever jinx you. I figured out I am going to get No Jinx stickers and Swipe versus Gripe stickers. So you and Swipe need to get together and come up with a name for your show, and we'll do those stickers, because I think that would be very, very cool.
I love it.
That's a Hurricane, how dare you? In the comment section at youtube.com/Locked On Nuggets. All right, on today's show, we are going to talk about, I'm going to make an argument that Zeke Naji needs to play later. I'm going to make the argument that game 3 is not a must win. I'm going to make a lot of outlandish, like, counter-cultural claims because I'm a contrarian today. That's a lot of alliteration. I have not slept, and I've had a headache for 36 hours, and I am about to fall over. But we are doing the show. Ryan slept all day and then taunted me with it. Ryan,
no, I didn't sleep all day. I just took a small little minor nap, and it was great.
I would have killed for a nap, but it's cool because I get to talk about basketball, so I don't really care. Like,
this time, by the way, they didn't fire the coach and the GM while it happened. So.
Oh, good job! Thank you. Nice job.
I was really.
Are you sure? Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you.
Oh, crap.
No. All right, let's start here. So, Jokic, instead of talking about good bad game, right, for game 2 and really game 1, like, I'm kind of bored with that. It doesn't really matter. What's important is I think everyone can admit, like, they need more from Jokic. Like, they're going to need monster games from Jokic. They're going to need a good game from Jamal. They're going to need a monster game from Jokic. They won game 1, and it's like, I thought it was encouraging that they could win a defensive battle. They can't all be like this. This is not Nuggets script. You can't have a 109 offensive rating. This is not sustainable. Denver's going to have to get out of the mud. And so they're going to do that. I think that starts with Jokic. And it's not that, like, Jokic has been inefficient, right? He's not missing tons of shots. It's not about that. For me, it's about volume. It's like they're just going to have to get him more opportunities to score because of where the offense is. And specifically for the purposes of this conversation, like, I've tried telling this to Ryan a couple of times. And I've told it to other people too, actually, when it's like they brought up, like, well, they don't have and I'm like, we will deal with what they don't have in like 3 weeks. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of time to talk about what they don't have. They got to work with it's mash time. We are a triage. It is okay. How are you going to get out of this series alive? And if you're going to get out of this series alive, you're going to have to get Jokic going. So Ryan, I will ask you. Joker has only attempted 11 post-up shots in 2 games. He has attempted 6 spot-up shots, 5 as the pick and roll man, 2 in isolation, 1 on what are called miscellaneous plays, 3 as the pick and roll ball handler, which is hilarious for a center, 4 coming off of screens, which I think is notable. How are the Nuggets going to get Jokic going?
Well, the off screens is a great point. That's one that I think he's going to have to, like, the great thing about Jokic is they can do it in a variety of different ways, right? They can use him in all of these different scenarios. There isn't just one way that you're going to point to and say, oh yeah, they have to do this more. They probably just have to do everything more. They probably have to mix it in as much as possible, be crafty, put Zubac in situations where he's uncomfortable moving off ball and has to read too many things at the same time. The other thing, Jokic could probably just keep letting it fly from 3. Like the shooting percentage for him from 3 has been pretty good so far. It's at 41.7% from 3 on both of these games. He looks pretty comfortable when he's willing to take it. And like one of those shots was a prayer at the end of the game in this last one, and not surprised that he missed that one. So I think that in general, like Joker just has to put the horse on his 2 shoulders, and just like it's that meme of the guy carrying the horse on his back and just trying to go through the field. It's going to be very difficult. That's just how it has to be. But in general, like, and Hurricane says it, yeah, getting Zoo in foul trouble would absolutely make a large benefit for that. So there's a lot of things that they can do. That would be one.
Millie Jackson Brown says it's not about Jokic. They need to play as a unit to beat the Clippers. Trying to put it all on Joker's shoulders in the playoffs isn't going to work long term. I don't know if I agree, man.
No.
And it's not necessarily that it's like, well, the other guys aren't good enough, even if I don't think that they're good enough. It's not really about that. It's the Clippers have got a great game from Harden and a great game from Kawhi. In the playoffs, you do need these monster performances. You need a monster performance and some help. That's like the playoffs are tough breaking, right? Yeah. So I'm not saying that Joker's going to have to put up 50, 20, 20. He's not going to put up a Kings line. That's not going to happen. But I do think, and he did this, I thought, a little bit in the second half of game 3 of just I'm just going to foul you out. He's frustrated, and I understand it. I'm somebody that's always kind of like, Nuggets fans complain too much about the whistle, even while I've said consistently through the years, Joker gets a bad whistle. In this series, like, I understand him being frustrated. He is getting mauled. He is getting hit. He is getting, like, knocked around. Like, it is a problem. As much as I want to, like, slough off fans blaming officiating, it's a problem when Jalen Brunson's able to just go out there and grift his way all over the floor in a loss. And Joker can't get a call when he's surrounded by 3 guys and getting mauled. Like, it's a problem. And the key, I think, though, is Joker can't fall into the victim status. There's drawing. Oh, I just kind of thought about this. There's drawing fouls when you play the victim, and there's drawing fouls when you play the aggressor. And those are different. And Joker needs to not play the victim, and he needs to play the aggressor. It doesn't need to be like flailing, like, do you see how much they're fouling me? It's just got to be like, I am forcing contact. They are mauling me, and I'm trying to make a basketball move.
Well, there's a couple of great examples that you could point to in that situation. There was a play last night, I believe, in the 4th quarter, where he seals Zubac under the rim, just like puts him in jail, and then they're able to enter the ball back into him, and Zubac has no choice but to foul in that case. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of movement that Joker can do, that if he gets into the paint with a 2-way go, with a couple of different options that he can go to in those cases, then I think you're going to see that. I think you're going to see him making moves to score, being crafty, getting Zubac off of his feet, and maybe getting him into foul trouble and doing things in like an ethical way. But the problem, and like we've come back to the spacing thing before, I just don't know how many options he has in a lot of those cases, because a lot of times the Clippers are funneling him into a situation where he either has to shoot over three people, around three people, or he's taking a jumper. And I think that's it's one of the benefits of being able to have other guys that can create a little bit and space a little bit.
And like, look, I think that I've talked about this a lot about the spacing stuff. I'm honestly like burned out on the word spacing over the last 10
Sure.
years. It's
I
not
understand
years,
it.
it's like 10 years. I'm tired of talking about it. I want to talk about something else. Like 5-ish says Jokic can't operate in the paint if there's consistently 3 to 4 guys there. They are making them pay. Like they're hitting these corner 3-pointers. Those are good shots and they are hitting them. Like on some level, whoever it is that you want shooting, it can be Russ, it can be Christian, it can be, dare I say, Jamal, it can be MPJ. I don't care. Find the open guy and punish them for it enough to where they're like, we just can't keep doubling him.
So what would mean more? If Jokic had 45 points in the next game, or Jokic had 16 assists in the next game?
Oh, God, that's a great question. 16 assists, because that means that the Clippers have breakdowns systemically as a unit.
But it's also the collapsing in the paint and then him doing those things and the Nuggets paying it off over and over and over again. And like that kind of being the theory of the practice, that if you commit so much, then that's the problem. Then you can't do that. And then it opens up the scoring after that. It opens up the paint after that. That's kind of the seesaw effect that you go through when you're a defense trying to deal with Joker. So they're trying to force him to pass, man. Like they're trying to force him to not take these shots. And like at some point, he's just going to either have to take the shots and be comfortable with it and find a way, or he's going to have to keep trusting the guys to make the plays. And like it's going to be a battle, especially when you go on the road in a case like this.
Typically, the answer to a lot of these moves is you move up front if they're doubling you. Like you move to the top of the floor because you got more vision. They're doubling him there. So at this point, I'm like, might as well post him up, because they're doubling anyway. So you might as well get in the paint, start the possession that way. We'll see if they can even get the ball to him, or if Clippers pressure will overwhelm them. We'll talk about coming up. Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard and what the Nuggets can do there briefly. Is Game 3 a must win? And Zeke versus DJ. I can't believe I'm going to make the argument, but I do think that Zeke Naji needs to play. We'll talk about that coming up on Locked On Nuggets. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game, man. Don't I know it? Going to those Nuggets games at Ball Arena, I mean, it's electric. It's been so great to see the city turn into this type of crowd. Where even in 2013, I was kind of like, really? When we got to the playoffs? And then obviously I went to years and years of there not being anybody at Ball. And now like every night's packed. Every night's awesome. The energy is always really great. The crowds have been awesome. Every bucket, every defensive stop, every moment feels huge in the NBA playoffs. It's electric in the arena. And with Game Time, you can be part of it without the stress of last-minute ticket hunting. Game Time makes it easy and fast to get playoff tickets, even when demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as the tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. You can sneak into a playoff game. Just wait till the last second. Just go hang out and then jump on Game Time, and you can get in at up to 60% off. That's crazy. The crowd is so amazing. So I've been mentioning, like, I've had a headache for like 36 hours. And last night, there's a young woman who sits behind our section who is extremely vocal and extremely loud, and she chants defense at the top of her lungs. And I wanted to die. Do you know what? I never once even considered being like reflecting anything. I didn't even want to express like discomfort, because that's what she's supposed to do, because that makes a great playoff atmosphere. So shout out to her, because that's what she needs to be doing to be loud for her team. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Wednesday. No jinx. We never jinx anybody. It's not a thing we would do. Make sure to check out our Locked On Nuggets newsletter. Go to lockedondaily.com and you'll check it. You'll be able to find all sorts of great stuff. If you're an optimist, then we're going to have breakdowns and ideas. Like I'm writing original stuff on things you need to know going into these games daily. Ryan's writing original stuff. Like, it's original content for you at lockedondaily.com. And if you're a pessimist, don't worry. We'll transition very quickly to who the Nuggets should trade for and sign, because we have like 700 guys on the radar.
I think Giannis would be pretty cool.
Kawhi Leonard. I like the way Joker plays basketball. I think most people here do too. Joker makes everybody better. Joker makes every single player better. I don't know any player that isn't improved by what Joker does. Not just on the possession for like, here's a pass for you to make a layup. I'm talking about them understanding how to play the game. Like, Aaron Gordon is such a better player than he was when he got here. Jamal is such a better player than he would have been if he'd gone somewhere else. Like, all of these guys benefit from playing next to Joker because he makes everybody better. Kawhi Leonard makes jump shots. That's what he does. He makes jump shots. He's really good at it. Like, he's really like not just like pretty good. Like, DeMar DeRozan's pretty good at it. Kawhi Leonard's amazing at making jump shots. That's his game. And it doesn't lift anybody up, and it doesn't make anybody better. And it'll be like, well, no, the gravity of blah, blah, blah. No. He makes isolation jump shots versus contested attempts. But the problem is the result is the same. Because if you're going to be that efficient like Kawhi was in game one, it doesn't matter what the other team does, because you've already taken up such a huge amount of possessions and played at such an efficient pace that you're able to have a 124 offensive rating just from you making jump shots. And it was not an outlier performance because Kawhi can do that. I wasn't surprised at any of the shots that he took going in or the volume that he did making that percentage of it. Do you want to see them do something different? I texted Maris today and was like, should they consider trying to run ball denial? The problem with ball denial is that if Kawhi pushes away on the perimeter and then cuts, it's a layup. That's the danger of it. Do you want, and people were like, you should double. Go watch the highlights. There's a great highlight reel that the Clippers ran. I know you probably don't want to do that, but force yourself to do it, stomach it. And you're going to see that there's like a turnaround jump shot where like Aaron comes over the last second, puts a hand directly in his face, and he just, nope, splash. Like, they did double, and it just doesn't matter sometimes. Is there anything that you want to see them do differently, or just stick to the process?
I think that there are a couple of things that they could try to do. I think that they could, and like Gabriel says something there. Like, I understand when fans are like, why is Jamal guarding Kawhi Leonard so often? I understand why you're saying that. All right, you try to scramble out of that in that situation where the team is trying to hunt you on a consistent basis and do everything you can to not be there. Like, Denver has fought it much more frequently in this series than they did in the regular season. Now, they're still kind of conceding the switch, probably more often than Matt would like, certainly. But Denver just has too many targets a lot of the time. And sometimes it's even Christian Brown, who's the guy that's just, hey, you're 6'7", man, but you have a 6'6" wingspan. It's too small. Like, it's just going to be a problem trying to contest some of those shots. And there's only so much that technique can kind of can get you with, because he's a technician, man. That's just what he does. He rises up, he fires it. He's seen everything before. And that's something that Joker said in the postgame last night, is that, yeah, he's just seen absolutely everything over the course of several years in this league. He's done this over and over again. I think you probably just have to live with some of it. But also what they could probably do is just try to work him a little bit harder on the defensive end by running a little bit more, by putting in the work in terms of trying to generate as much turnovers as possible. They should be trying to blitz his handle as often as they possibly can and force him to reset the possession. Will he make it? Sure. If you have to force him so he's playing 42 minutes a game doing that for a full series, I just think that the math for Denver gets better later in the series if they continue to work hard in games 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I shared in the comment section a link, and you can catch on Twitter for me as well. Wolves back down 11, by the way, 7:45 to go. They're clawing back in this one. About, I think I wrote some of the Jamal stuff. They are actually putting Jamal on Kawhi and it's not a switch situation. They're just guarding him with it that way. And like, there's a number of reasons for it. You obviously can't put Joker on him. Brendan, Vogt, and I have both thought that it's probably worth taking a look at what happens if you put MPJ on him. Like, it's just worth happening. I think he's hit a few on him, but he's usually, I think, actually re-screened him. I'd have to check the numbers on what actually occurred in those games or on the matchups to know how many he's actually, like, how many of those he's been in position of. But I do think I got it right here to take a look at. I think that MPJ guarding him first is probably not a bad idea. There is a point where you just kind of have to be like, AG, I'm really sorry. It sucks. It's not fair. You're just going to have to do this for 40 minutes. And if you die, we will mourn you. Rest in peace.
That's why you load manage during the regular season if you can. That's what these games are for. And honestly, like, Matt, it was why he was brought in, right? Like, it was his responsibility. And so if that's something that he can't do anymore, that's going to have
well,
to
be. That's not it. Because he actually, if you look at game one, he did a really good job on him. And honestly,
I agree.
Two of the misses in game 4 in that fourth quarter when Kawhi actually missed were Aaron. And I was like, ooh, okay, like starting to wear him down. And then Kawhi was like, I'm going to dribble this so far into the post that I get to this little short range step back. But those shots I thought were a lot tougher. So, like, Aaron can do it. It's not a matter of that. Like, it's just about, like, it's going to kill him. This is a great comment for Big Honey.
Is there a world where the right thing for Denver to do is to start Peyton Watson?
Yes.
And just, like, start him over Michael Porter Jr.
Yes.
And say, hey, you are going to start on Kawhi Leonard in these games, and we are going to try to ease the burden for Aaron Gordon, at least early on.
Preach.
Yeah, yes. I get it. I totally understand it. And honestly, man, like, if Mike's shoulder is hurting him a little bit too much and he needs to sit in game 3 and then Denver starts Peyton Watson and, oh, wow, weird, Denver won a 92-85 game because their defense was great and they just made enough shots in the clutch when it mattered, would that surprise you? Like, no, I don't. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. So, yeah, I do think that Peyton Watson probably needs to play more, and I think that that's a good opportunity because the best thing about guarding star players, and you saw this against Jokic in the Minnesota Timberwolves series, was just having a rotation of people that can play as hard as they possibly can and just battle. And if Peyton Watson is good, like, Peyton Watson has played 14 minutes in each of those games. He's their best perimeter defender. He's probably got to play.
5-ish says, why not start PY over CB? Ian Johnson says, I would start him over CB, not MPJ.
That's not the matchup because you need to guard Harden.
Yeah, Harden puts up a 20-point first quarter if you do that.
Yes.
Like, you can't, if you're going to do this, if you're going to say, like, we're going to value slowing down these two guys, it's going to have to be you got to have your 3 best defenders on the floor. The 3 best defenders for the Nuggets are Aaron Gordon, Peyton Watson, and Christian Brown.
Yes.
Christian's play has not, like, he's not getting, it's tough stuff, man. Like, could Christian play better defensively in game 2? Yeah. His assignments are insane. Christian needs to give more offensively. But, like,
this is the one where if he dies, he dies. That applies to Christian more than anybody else on the team.
Yeah. Okay, coming up, we're going to get into the MPJ stuff on the shoulder and some of that. And then I'm going to talk about how I think game 3 is actually not a must win. And I'm going to make the argument for Zeke Naji. Coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? It is. Turn on any TV in your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed. How about Warzone with Verdansk back? That's been awesome with my friends. As easily as you stream your favorite TV shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, you can watch more with 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, shout out The Pit, and more. Hosts you can talk about if I love playing Warzone with my friends. I've been playing Marvel Rivals. You can do all that. You can play it anywhere. Then it's going to make it easier. So if you're traveling and you still want to hang out with your friends, you can do that. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On. Fire TV Locked On. Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including the Fire TV Stick 4K second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max first and second generation, and the Fire TV Cube third generation. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us. I want to let you know, not only do we have Locked On Nuggets newsletter, not only is it daily, not only does it get you original content and is it free, but the playoff race is heating up for the Nuggets. Are we going to be able to make a run here? Like, could they actually make like a sustained run? You can stay in the know with the Locked On Nuggets podcast newsletter, and you can get a chance to win one of these amazing prizes by subscribing. You can get a $2,500 Best Buy gift card to upgrade your sports cave, a $300 Gametime gift card, and a $200 Fanatics gift card. Sign up between April 7th and April 30th, 2025 to be entered. Our Nuggets newsletter delivers real-time updates, expert analysis, and playoff insights tailored for you. Subscribe now for free to the Locked On Nuggets podcast newsletter and stay ahead as the season unfolds. Subscribe today. Click on the link in the description to enter. All right. We have to hit these quickly because we're on time crunch. So I'm going to go quickly here. Game 3 is not a must win. The Nuggets can tie this thing up in game 4 and we are back to all even. It is more likely that they're going to win game 4. Game 3 is the Clippers have the momentum. They win game 3. Everyone's like, I don't know how the Nuggets are going to win this series. And then it flips right back around the same way that people were like, how are the Nuggets going to do, or how are the Clippers going to do this after, the Nuggets took that punch in game 1? It's more likely that they get blown out in game 3 than it is that they win. Like, they are more likely to get blown out in game 3. I don't think this is a must win. History says I'm wrong and that you have to win game 3 if you're going to win the series. The chances are like 80%. I just think with this particular Nuggets team, look, this was always going to be a long series. It was always going to have to take, like, you were going to lose a game like game 2. So for me, game 4 is like, if you get game 3, awesome. Did your job, got home court back, head on back for game 5. But if you lose, it is not the end of the world. I think they're fine if they lose game 3. What do you think?
100% with you. I think if I were to bet on how the series goes, it is that they lose in game 3. They might even lose in a blowout. It wouldn't really change my opinion on how they would approach this thing. But game 4 would then become a must win. And we've seen Denver with their back against the wall really approach these situations in a great way. They have shown the backbone. They have shown the resiliency. They have shown the willingness to kind of do that extra stuff. So like, this is a team against this other team that has come back from 3-1 in a series before. So look, Denver, it's not a must win. It will never be a must win until it's an elimination game. And I think that at this point, Denver, they have a lot of, like, there's a lot of pressure, to be clear, but they also, like, the pressure right now is still on the Clippers to maintain home court advantage. If the Clippers get game 3, pressure kind of flips.
I have a wild number for you.
Okay.
Since 2003, 4 seeds on the road in game 3 after losing game 2. Okay. 4 seeds on the road, lost game 2. 22-15, 60%.
That's an interesting number.
Didn't expect. Now, I will say that basically everything about these trends has not been right in this series. So you can ignore that for now.
I will say, and be like, just one real quick thing, because I know we are in a time crunch. What if Jokic and Murray just each have 30 plus in a game? Like, would you be surprised if that happened at all? With the number of, like, the volume of shots that they are getting and the amount of time that Denver is going to be focused on, like, especially it's not as role player centric in a road series. It's how are the main guys going to get shots? How are they going to take you home?
I think it'd be great. I keep waiting for it. Like, the Clippers defense is really great. Chris Dunn was awesome, and he's getting better on Jamal as the series goes along. I thought Jamal actually got it was frustrating. Jamal got, like, really kind of dominated him in game 1, but couldn't knock down shots. And then in game 2, Jamal had his jumper going, but Chris got a lot better at defending him. And it's like, so they're gonna have to kind of compensate for that. But yeah, look, I think these guys can do it, and if they do, honestly, this is what I keep kind of saying. The Clippers offense is not good. Like, it's not good. This is not a good offense.
Somebody has to be screening for Jamal every single possession to try to get one of Harden or Powell guarding him for at least one of these games.
You know what I always say? If you need somebody to set a devastating screen and create separation, you call Zeke Naji. So, look, I get it. Zeke's been out of the rotation. I get it. This series is tooth and nail. It is inches. It is a missed dunk, missed free throw. Like, it's so close. Any edge you can get. And if you're going to experiment, that needs to include experimenting with Zeke Naji, because Zeke Naji is able to space the floor. I don't worry about Zeke Naji versus the Ben Simmons lineups.
No.
I just don't. I don't worry about him versus Derrick Jones Jr. They honestly need someone to combat the Clippers' athleticism in that second unit, because even though it's like I said, I'm not scared about the Ben Simmons lineups. What I mean by that is just like I worry if DJ's like Zeke can't go in any minute where Zoo plays. Like, if they start the second quarter with that changed rotation, which, by the way, the Nuggets should change that and have Joker mimic. Like, Joker should be on the floor every minute Zoo is, but they're not going to do that.
Interesting. It's so rare for the main star to be the one that has to adjust his rotation around what the role player does, but maybe you're right.
Desperate times.
Yeah.
But if they're going to roll out that second unit, here's kind of the counter to it, Ryan, is if they're like, oh, we're going to sub out Zoo now because he needs a rest, and we're going to go to the Ben Simmons and we're going to play small versus Jokic. That's when you sub too, and you're like, oh, you're going small? Now we're going to buy minutes. Like, as long as you leave him out there, we're going to buy minutes for Joker with him, and Zoo doesn't get to play against any of the non-Joker minutes. You can't have the athleticism. Again, I think if they play a slower plotting team, or if they face a team that doesn't have interior size, I think DJ's fine. Simmons and DJJ are actually pretty big guys. Like, DJJ Derrick Jones Jr. has a lot of athleticism. And I just think that Zeke could actually bring something to the table there. It could go horribly, and you need to bail on it a minute in. And I understand from some of the coaches' perspective, I don't want to put Zeke in that position. I just think it's worth at least considering, Ryan.
100%. Like, we talked about this, and we've talked about how many guys on Denver's roster can actually play in this series. Zeke is one of those guys it's debatable. Him, Julian Strawther, I think Jalen Pickett's still in that debatable category. I think DJ's in that debatable category. Situational ball. But like, this is the situation. And if you're trying to draw up a situation where like Zeke Naji is playable, it's against an isocentric team. It's against teams like guys that are especially bigger, like Kawhi Leonard. And it's against small ball lineups where in those bench situations, you don't have to contend with a massive center. So we're going to find out really quickly. I'm curious to see what Adelman does in game 3.
Wolves within 9, 309 to go. We'll see how this one wraps up. You'll know tomorrow when you listen to this. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys being with us. We will see you guys again next time tomorrow. I think, no, maybe tomorrow on Locked On Nuggets. I'm going to bed. Going to bed forever.
Subscribe.